Welcome everybody to the Brother Speak podcast. This is Brother Speak. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. So if you can help out, please subscribe so I can get to that 100. So I'm trying to get there. I've been stuck at 96, at 97, and then go back down to 96. Please, if you're listening to the channel, subscribe so I can get to 100, and that'll be good for me. You know, I don't ask for no money. I'm not asking for cash apps or nothing like that. I'm just trying to get to that 100, and then I can go from there. So, and today we had a Super Mike 2164, good brother. He had a discussion today on the whole we concept, we versus us, and it was an interesting conversation. We it turned it almost to a gender conversation for a bit, and then it got back to where it needed to be. And I just wanted to weigh in a little bit more on it. I understand where Super Mike is coming from. It's like we, as black people, were born black. So we do have a situation where you are part of a group based on birth. And I get that because, like I said, I'm black. Look at the skin. I mean, there ain't no, there's no way for me to get away from that. However, when we talk about we're trying to build something like a community and as a group, you can't have certain people, in my opinion, have people who have different mindsets in the sense of where it's competing with each other. It's it can't be to the point where you just do anything in a group and you don't have a certain standard. I listen, I am an individualist, but I also understand the need for community. But again, you have to have the same mindset. You have to have certain standards that you have to have in order for the group to function. You can't have it where everybody wants to do their own thing, and then when it gets to the point where you don't have a standard, everybody wants to do their own thing, it messes up the group. Now, I understand where Koja was coming from, and I believe that too. There is such a thing when you take it to a collective mindset to the point where you don't allow individual thought processes. I understand that too. It has to be a balance. You can't go one way too far left with the weed concept where anything goes. We're just going to accept, because what happens with that, with a collective, there's a lot of abuses that go on. There's been a lot of stuff that's swept under the rug that really shouldn't be. And when people speak out, they get trouble coming. I mean, the perfect example with Malcolm X when he spoke up against the Nation of Islam, well, not necessarily the whole nation, against one particular person, and the whole Nation of Islam turned on him. You can't have a situation where you let somebody's sins go unchecked. Then what's the point of the group? What's the point of we as a group? But on the other hand, you can't just have anybody up in the group and they're not following a set code. Because if you're not doing that, you don't have a set code, and people just do whatever, it makes your group look bad, as we're seeing right now. I mean, I was just on Wheel Lock Nation's live stream where we're talking about we have certain people who, with a quote unquote white supremacist, goofy idiot Nick Fuentes, and they letting him say the N word, and they just cheering. Those people should not be in your group. Period. I don't give a good goddamn who they are. I don't care male female. If you allowing that shit to happen, you shouldn't be in the group. Now, O'Shea was kind of spoke on it. He was trying to be generous. It's like, I don't believe they African American, and I'm like, you being too generous. I'm going to assume they African American, and they ain't in my fucking group. The fuck out of here. This ain't a situation when you're at your job, because I've had some people who are not black saying the N word, and there ain't much I can do about it because, again, I'm in a professional situation. Can't hit them or nothing. I lose my job. But that's not a professional situation. That's a situation where you don't even have to be a part of, and they just sitting there cheering it on with a two dudes who we know they ain't ADOS. They'll let you know they ain't ADOS, but they okay. They idolize these type of guys. I mean, the Queen Maker pointed out to Myron when Myron was writing his book about certain men. She told him the majority of those men are not you. They don't look like you. They ain't from your culture. But these are the type of people that we have in our group. And again, I get what Super Mike's saying. Well, we can't fight. We can't keep not fighting to keep these people in the group. I'm like, no, fight them for what? Fight for them for what? No, they need to get. They need to be gone. If you can't, quote unquote, unalive them, then you need to ruin their reputation. That's what white folks do. That's what other groups of men do. They ruin their reputation to the point where nobody takes them seriously. And unfortunately, we got some, and I'm just talking about men, we got some men who will fight for people that don't respect you. They have them in the group. They're oh, these men, no, they good people. They good people. You just gotta talk to them. No, they ain't no talking to them. They're anti-black. Why are we even having this conversation? They need to go. I don't want them around. I'm not trying to fight for them. Leave them let them be where they are and ruin their reputation. If we can't physically do nothing to them, they ruin their reputation to the point where nobody want to listen to these fucks. That's how it should be. Same with women. I again, I remember that conversation I had with Max. It's like they don't want to follow black women male leadership. Okay, why are they in the group? No, we need to fight for them. No, we don't. No, we're about to fight for people who don't want to be in the group. They don't want to take male leadership. What people that again, we got that. It has to be a cutoff point. Because if you don't have a cutoff point and you just have anybody in the group, you're never going to get anywhere. Okay, you could be individualistic. I agree with individualism, but when we talk about a group, you can't have people who are too individualistic. Now, I agree. My thing, a group is made of individuals, but they have to have a certain kind of code of conduct, a culture to work with. And if you are so anti-group to the point where I don't want nobody to tell me what to do. Okay, well, you had a job. A job has a certain culture that you have to follow. And if you're not going to follow it, they're going to get rid of you, period. You got to be the same with a group. If you're not with a group, hold on a second. Got to unmute myself. But if you're in a situation where people can do whatever and they don't want to be checked, that's a problem because they're going to turn on you and then they're going to ruin the reputation of your group. And there's this thing that I think Kojo was alluding to and she's alluded to before. We worry about what these other people think. Okay, well, here's the problem. You do have to have a group reputation. White folks care about their group reputation. But it just seems like with certain black folks, they want to be so anti-group that they want to do whatever and still be allowed in the group. I'm like, no, that's not how that group works. It's not how culture works. You have to be there. Have to be certain guidelines and standards and stipulations to be in a group if we're going to get together as a group. It doesn't mean you have to agree on every little thing, but there has to be certain things that you have to agree on in order for it to function. If you can't do that, then what's the point? Now, again, I don't agree with the whole fighting for certain people, like people who just don't want to listen at all. Nah, we're not gonna fight you. We're not gonna try to help you or nothing. And like, hey, you on your own, and whatever happens, happens, Captain. And we need to be making sure that those people's reputation be so damaged that nobody listens to them. Nobody wants to even think about what they do. That's where we at. But we as a group, we want to. It's the funniest thing for certain people. We ostracize them for no reason at all because they may have a certain thing that they're against. They have certain things that we just anti no matter what, which is not really like bad. It's just that's their opinion. And we want to ostracize them out of the group. But then there's certain people that are totally anti your group, totally not beneficial, but we want to bring them in. It's like the thing with the biracial thing that I've seen a lot. It's like there's some blacks who like they not black no matter what, whether they want to be black or not. They just not black. Never mind the fact that they have black, still black. Oh, you following the one drop rule? No, I'm following their fucking genetics. They want to be black, but then you have some people who clearly tell you we ain't black, we ain't trying to be black, even though they light skin and whatever. We ain't black. We ain't trying to be black. We want to have our own race, but you guys still people want to try to get them in the group. And I'm like, why? It's crazy. It's the land of extremes with this kind of conversation, us versus we conversation. We if we want to have a we, and I get it, we're born black, but not every black person wants to be around black people. There's some black males and females who don't want to follow black male leadership. And I can get that to an extreme because I mean I get that to the extent because of what happened in their lives. I get it. But at the same time, if we're going to have a group, and if you want to say black men are the leaders, we're going to have to follow a certain black man. But again, there has to be check and balances. Like I remember Koji was talking about on the platform, well, this black church, they let the pastor do anything. Okay, well, yeah, I know a black church, they didn't let that pastor do shit. He tried to pull stuff like that, try to use the money for something else. They ran him up out of that. That were women in that group. So again, it really depends on the group. There's some uh, women that'll let the pastor do whatever the fuck they want to do, but there's some women that won't let that pastor do nothing. I mean, look what happened with T.D. Jakes when he was somewhat trying to hold black women accountable. They turn on him with the quickness, and this is the same guy who wrote uh, programs for black women, help produce movies for black women empowerment, but they turn on him. So it's just dependent. But we got a lot of people who want to be the group when it benefits them, but then when it don't benefit them, now they want to turn around and say this is horrible. Black men, the words black women terrible. They mammies, all kinds of stuff. It's like, okay, well the group didn't benefit you. Okay, well then stay by yourself. When we have the group conversation, why are you here? It's kind of like, okay, it's like the same with marriage. You got people who okay, we're talking about the benefits of marriage. Why are you here? Why are you here? It's crazy. But that's the people want to tear down any group ideas that would be beneficial. They want to tear it down. I'm not the type of person to tear down a group mentality. I just be more of the okay, let's not take it too far where we just allow stupid stuff for the sake of the group, you know, aka the collective. We can't allow just people who do it wrong and have them around for the sake of the collective. No, no other groups do that. They get rid of their group. They get rid of that person. You know, we don't expect that from other groups. They do that. They don't. They have a certain code. We are the only. We got certain people who think that other groups don't follow a code. Yes, they follow a code. They have a system. They have a code. And if you break that code, you out of there. And the whole thing with Africa was brought up. And like the reason why like Koja talked about Africa, but then she countered her own point about the Africans. The reason why Africa got conquered because they were a tribal, they were separatists. They were this tribe and this tribe, and they didn't want to get along. They didn't have a common code. You can see that now. I've seen with coworkers. The Nigerians don't like the Ghanaians. The Ghanaians don't like the Nigerians. Uh, Other parts of Africa don't like certain. I mean, it's fucking crazy. But that's how it is, and that's why you see how Africa got conquered because they wasn't a group. They were too individualistic as a tribe. Meanwhile, you do have with the white folks, they let everybody in. They were individualistic. Like, okay, you Italian, we don't want you around. You Russian, we don't want you around. But when the numbers got low, that's when like, oh, you white now. Like some of these white Hispanics. They like, oh no, you white now. Come on in. Come on in. See, When it's beneficial, they do that. But we're the land of extremes. Again, it's like, we don't want we only want total black all the time, or we let all of them in. It's like you got to have a balance. If you don't have a balance, then you're not going to go anywhere. Like, I agree with individualism, but if you're going to get anywhere even more than what you are now, you do have to have a group. But that don't mean just invite any old black person around. No, you have to vet them. You have to study them, see where their values is. If your core values are aligned, then yeah, then you can become a group and you go from there. But if your core values don't align, what's the point? And I was like, well, coach was like, well, we go buy from different people and all the time. Well, I'm like, well, those people are not trying to be in your culture. They just trying to get your money. Here, give me your money. They're not trying to be involved in the community. They're not trying to help your children. They're not trying to help your men or your women out, giving jobs and stuff like that. No, most times they take the money and go to their group, and they be a group. They be a group. They think group before anything. Yes, they have their own individual things, but when it's time for group, they come together as a group. You think like the Asians, would they have that law passed? You think they together like that? No. You got the Chinese, the Vietnamese, and Philippines, all them. They're separate nationalities, stuff like that. But when it's something benefiting their group, guess what? They come together. It's just the way it is. But you got people again who are so individualistic. They don't trust the group. They don't want to be part of the group, especially when you talk about patriarchy, and it turn into that discussion. And it okay, let's put it this way: you have patriarchy. There's stuff that works, some that don't. You've had what do you call it? How have you said it? I think it was in Africa. Well, that got conquered. So there are flaws in any type of system that you're going to have because again, it's man-made, and man-made. And when I talk about men, I'm not talking about just men and women. I'm just talking about men. When it's man-made, it's going to have flaws, but the benefits should outweigh the flaws. So you see what works, but you see the mistakes, then you have to work on the mistakes. So it's kind of so, but like I said, you got certain people who don't want to be part of a group. They want to be part of a group to get the benefits, but then when it's time to be part of a group where there's certain standards, oh, I don't want the standards. I don't want to be part of a. I want to do my own thing. Okay, well, if you want to do your own thing, well, do your own thing, but you can't be a part of this group. Nah, I should be involved. Like, why? Why you don't want to be involved? You want to do your own thing? Well, do your own thing, but do your own thing over there. Go over there and do it. Don't be over here when we have a group thing and you want to be totally independent. Well, go over there or over there, but don't be over here. You know, because there's certain things here we're gonna have a set of rules and standards that you got to abide by. You don't want to do it, fine, but go over there. Go over there. Go behind me. Go over in front of me. But just go away. That's that's what you got to do. But if you don't want to do that, well, then don't jump in the conversation. And Super Mike was like, well, we can't leave some of these people behind. I'm like, sorry, dude, you gotta leave some of these people behind. Black folks have a bad habit, want to drag certain people and try to make them do the right thing. They don't want to do it. Now, I do agree, leave opportunities for them to come in the group. Now, I am very about, especially when you talk about like young men who in these bad neighborhoods, you do need to give them an opportunity. But at the same time, they have to follow certain rules and standards. If you're not going to give them rules and standards and you just let them do whatever, it's going to ruin your group. Just like at the prison where I work, there's a certain standard that we have to abide by. If we don't abide by it, then it goes to shit. Got coworkers let the inmates do whatever, then they cry about, well, these inmates don't want, they're out of control. Okay, but you're letting them do certain things. You're letting them do whatever. We gotta get them under control, but you letting them do whatever. Is it their fault or is that your fault? They had one like, well, this dude want to stand outside until everybody come back from chow. Okay, did you tell him to go back in? He just want to stand out there. Okay, did you write him up because he had a place? No. But the supervisor should be coming on. Wait a minute, the supervisor don't need to come down there. You could just tell him, hey, go in the house. I don't want to do it. Okay, write him up. It's not that hard. But if you're gonna allow them to do whatever, then they're gonna do whatever. It's just the way it is. It's just like with a child. You let a child do whatever, then you want to rein them in after they've gone too far left. It's too late now. It's too late. No, I was talking. My mother, God bless her soul, passed away. She's talking about my brother. My brother, oh, he don't give up enough money. I said, well, mother, he don't understand responsibility. Well, mom, let's be honest. You let him come without paying no rent for years. He's never held an apartment himself. He's never had to pay even half the rent. What do you expect him to do? Well, you need to go talk to him about. I said, I'm not going to talk to him. I accept him for what he is. I'm not going to put more on him than he can handle. If you're expecting more out of him being a man when he hasn't been a man for years, that's something wrong with you. Well, he should be paying you more in the rent. I said, I'm not expecting him. I charge him what I know he could pay because he ain't having no high paying job. I can only expect him to do so much. Now there's something extra, yeah, he gonna pay for it. I used to write resumes and stuff like that, do something on the internet. Yeah, I taxed him for that. But as far as the rent and stuff like that, I'm not going to make him pay more than what he can. I'm not going to expect more than what he can. And you should do that. And that's the thing with this whole we versus us discussion. We're expecting people to do more with what they can. And we want to keep fighting for them to do what they don't want to do. And if they don't want to do it, there's nothing you're gonna be able to do. You can't talk to them, you can't reason with them, you talked enough. How many times we'll talk to certain black men, hey, can't be going around dropping babies everywhere. No, you can't be just letting these women do whatever they want around you. No, You stop, shame, blame, and explain to these women about certain things that they keep doing it. At that point, it's like, okay, there's no point in talking no more. You got to go. Now, we unlock had like a little contract they having like, hey, you need to stop having these women on your panels. If you're going to disrespect them and all that, then you need to not have them on your panel. You need to sign them. I can tell you right now, most of them ain't going to sign that shit. They need the drama. They need to go at these women. It's just that's just how it is. Um, Now I know me. I've said before. I mean, there's certain things that men need to discuss among men. Certain things like even with child care, how a father will raise a child. That's something that has to be discussed with men. The child support system that need to be discussed with men. Boys getting abused in these homes. As stuff that happened to these boys in the school system. That's stuff that has to be discussed with men. That can't be discussed with women, and it certainly shouldn't be used as a counter to what the women are saying. Whether the women are getting abused, whether the boys are getting abused, okay, that just kills your argument, or the vice versa. I've seen that too. I was like, okay, that just kills your argument. So what's the point? So it's if we're gonna have these discussions, then the first thing, like I said, men gotta discuss with men on what men need to do. Whether it's relationships, business, all these things, men gotta discuss that with men without the women around. Women shouldn't even be in the conversation like that. Now, like I said, if it's a community thing, then yes, men and women have to be involved because if we're gonna have a community, you gotta have men and women involved and be able to have their own opinion. Now, I do agree with Coach on that part. Men and women do have to have a say, but again, and it has to go with who's going to be the leader, who, what agenda that we're going to have, and go from there, and what rules and standards that we're going to have with these groups that we're going to be in, and then past that, now we can work with other groups who have a difference of mindsets and see where there's some things we can agree on, some things we don't, and that's how you build your groups and your cultures. But to say that we don't need a group, we could just be individuals, yeah, okay, that works for you. But to get to another level, you're going to need a group. That's if you want to. I'm not saying a lot of people want to. They cool where they are, and that's good. If you cool where you are, be where you are. Nothing wrong with that. But don't be anti-group when we're talking about group discussions and you want to be anti-group or anti-marriage or something like that. It's like, why are you even here? Well, I just want to let you know the bad side. I'm like, okay, there's bad sides to everything. There's bad sides to individuality. If you're by yourself, then you're taking on certain things by yourself. You might be out of there. Because again, as much power as you have, but if you got a group of people with almost the same amount of power as you, they could just get you up out of there. Now what you gonna do? So it's kind of like when we talk about us and we, and yes, you have to have a group with core values that they can agree on, and then be open to certain ideas that might work, that might not. Like certain supervisors I've had at my job, they open to different ideas, and some they take, some they can work with, some they can't. it just depends. But you can't be like throw everything out because, oh well, this part don't work, this part don't work. Okay, well, just throw that part out. But you can't throw away the whole system because, again, if we're talking about in particularly patriarchy, it's been a system that's been working for all this time. Yes, there's corruption, but in any group there's corruption. Because at the end of the day, if you have a situation where you you're too individualistic, you're not going to move as a group. If you're too group minded, there are abuses with that too. You know, with anything, like even religion, there have been abuses in the church. There have been abuses when the pastor had so much power that there a lot he took liberties with it. But then there have been situations where that the people were so individualistic that the pastor got ran up out of there. I've seen both happen, and usually a lot of times it's not even for the benefit of church. It's for certain people, because certain people jealous of this pastor, certain people jealous of this person in particular. Oh, he's always a troublemaker. She a troublemaker. We got to get rid of her. So hold on a second. So yeah, I mean, so we versus us discussion is kind of like it. We do need a we do need a group. We do need to control our image, particularly, and but it has to be balanced. You can't be so rigid that you're just not open to different things. But there are certain things you cannot be open to that will affect the group going forward. Because even then, you do need to have some type of respect from other groups. You do have to have that. Otherwise, they're going to do whatever. And if you, as a group, don't have a certain set of values and codes, you're not going to be able to come together to fight these other groups. Because the only way, again, they can fear you, fear and respect. Gotta have both. And they can't fear you if you're not a group. If they can pick off one of you because you don't like how this group is functioning, they're going to use that. I mean, it's happened before. Look what happened to the Black Panthers. Look how they was picked apart because they wasn't really a group like that. They were weak links that the government could exploit. So if you have a situation, and there were other like black groups that were fighting for black people, but there were weak links in the group, and it brought it down because they really weren't about the group. They wanted to do their own thing. They felt that their way was better, and they wasn't really. They felt they wasn't getting heard when what they were doing probably wasn't a benefit, and so they turned. So it's kind of it's kind of a it's a balance. And if you're becoming a leader of a group, you have to have that balance. If you don't have that balance, and it's just your way or the highway, yeah, you're gonna there's gonna be mutiny. But again, also, but if you let anybody just say any old thing, and there's no certain structure, then the group fails. So going back to the whole discussion, like with Fresh and Fit and that whole thing with Nick Fuentes, and listen, those people shouldn't be in the group. Nobody, no black people, black men, black women shouldn't be on that show no more. And if you decide to go on there, that's your ass. If you decide to go up there, that's your ass. I don't care if you're male or female. You shouldn't be even part. We shouldn't even talk to you because clearly, at this point, well, it's been like this for a minute. You just there for clicks and views. You don't care about your dignity. You don't care about your respect. You just there for clicks and views and some clout. Okay, that's fine. If that's what you want to do for clout, go right ahead. If you want to dress a certain way just for that clout, for that attention, that's fine. Go right ahead. You do that. But but if you want to do that, go over there. Don't be here. Go over there. I'm cool with go over there. And if you don't want to be with you think the black American women is just terrible, you want to go to another country, okay, I'm cool with that. But go over there. Why are you talking? Why are you still talking? Black women, well, however black women are treating black men shouldn't even be in your mouth. You should be worried about what those women doing to you. The same with a black dude who talk about white. You with a white woman like that. What are you worried about what black women doing? You should be over there. Over there. I know I'm like, I'd be the best divester SYSBM of everybody. Because my mind is, I don't give a fuck about these other people. If I'm with a Becky or Maylene or whoever, I'm gonna be over there. I'm gonna worry about her. I ain't worried about what these black women doing. God damn, my nose itching. I'd be the best divester if I was a black woman with a white man. I wouldn't worry about what these black men talking about doing it ever in life. It's like, that ain't my problem. They unaliving us and well, such be you, sis. Ain't my problem. I'm with my I'm with my Brad. Now, these black women treat us like dog shit. Okay, that sounds like a personal problem, dude. I'm with my Becky right now. I'm with my African queen. Shit, I ain't worried about what Akeisha doing. Keisha ain't my problem. But we want to bring these people in. There's black men out here that so want Keisha to bow down or to love us and validate us existence that we can't get nowhere. And same on the black women's side. They so need these black male validation that it it doesn't it's like, and we they and then when they don't get it, then they want to blame the black man. I'm like, man, you're an individual, right? You say you're an individual, right? So no excuses. You say you're a black man. You say you're a leader, right? So no excuses. I don't care what Keisha doing. What you doing? And you got if you're gonna have a group, you got to have that mindset. I don't care what these other groups are doing. I'm worried about me. I'm worried about my group. Now, if you want to be an individualist, well then, hey, don't worry about the group. I'm worried about what I'm doing. That's simple enough. But we got people who want to be contrarian. We got people who want to put out a message that is anti, no matter what. And with that, those certain people you got to get rid of. That's just the only way you're going to make it work. You got to get rid of them. You can't be fighting, and I respect Superman to the utmost, but you can't be fighting for these people. That's too much work. We got to get these women under control. You know how you get them under control? By getting yourself under control. The reason why some of these groups of men don't respect black men is because they don't control themselves. They worry about what the women doing too much. Meanwhile, these other groups of men don't give a fuck like that. She don't act right. Bye. There is no discussion. No, we're not. No, you want to be ratchet? You want to be doing goofy stuff? Okay, you by yourself. Go over there. Bye. We ain't gonna try to. No, no. This is what we. This is, and it goes back to the protection thing. Okay, you want our protection? There's rules and stipulations to that. You don't want to follow it? Okay, go over there. You by yourself. We ain't coming to save you. We ain't. Well, we'll use you. We'll use you to get at these other groups. But past after we use you up, we throwing you away. But we're not gonna bring you in. And if you try to come back, yeah, we're gonna put the my micro. We're gonna be analyzing you. We're gonna be vetting you. You see what the Karens got? These white dudes not. Hey, nah, Karen, no, we ain't coming over here. It got so bad. The cops have to be like, look, Karen, we'll arrest you. You doing too much. We're tired of running out here because some black man look at you funny. No, no, look, either you gonna deal with it or guess what? Bye. We're gonna arrest you. We're gonna clown you and like again. I'm we're literally seeing this in real time, where the what the white men be doing. They ruin these reputations of these Karens to the point of nobody believes them. They destroy their reputation to the point where nobody believes them, nobody cares. They move into obscurity. It's just that's what they do. But we as black people, for some reason, I'll put it this way: we'll destroy certain people's reputations just because we don't like them, not to benefit the group, just because we don't like them. That's how we roll. I don't like this person. They make me feel some type of way. I'm going to destroy their reputation. They're dating this white woman. I don't like that. So we're going to destroy their reputation. He she is a baby mama. We're going to ruin her reputation. That's how we are. We don't do it for the benefit of the group. We don't do it for the benefit of the black race. We just do it because we don't like this person. Get rid of them. The same with the whole biracial thing. We black if we want them. Oh, they black. Blackity black black. But we don't like them. Nah, they ain't black. Oh, I want to be an individualist. Okay. But you still got to involve me in the group. No, no, we don't. Oh, well, the group sucks. It's terrible. It's all that. Okay. But you never said why what you was doing in the group that made them run you out of there. That's how they do. They want to destroy the reputation of a person or group because they just don't like them. They can't have their way, and that's a big hurdle for black people, because there's people who want to have their own way, not for the benefit of the group, but they want to have their own way. They want to either benefit black men or black women, not for the group. Oh, you didn't mention black women when you were fighting for. Oh, you just care about black men. What? You didn't mention black men, so you just don't care about black men. What? What about the men? What about women? I'm like, no. What about yourself? What about yourself? Get that straight. Then worry about what these other people, because it does start with an individual. But if you want to do better, then yeah, you do need to be in a group. If you want to build a community, you do have to have a group, in which again you have to have the same mindset, core values that you can agree with. I'm not saying that the lifestyle particularly have to be the same, but you have to have some core values. If you don't, then you're just a bunch of individuals. You're never going to achieve anything as a group. But again, you got some people who don't want to be in a group, and then you have some people who want the group so desperately that they'll just let anybody in. And again, it has to be balance. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people who are not balanced. They're just not, because of what happened to them in their childhood, adulthood. They're not balanced with it. And those people are the most dangerous. That's when you have to be like, okay, you got to go. So, like the whole back to Wheel Lock and his thing, I said, yes, black men need to have panels with only black men. There should be no black women involved, not at all, because it's distracting from what they do. Black men and black women went through different things during slavery, during Jim Crow. Even today, we go through different things. We don't go through the same. We don't get the same opportunities. We don't have the same barriers. Everything is different. And to say that we go through the same thing, that's an insult to both sides. So that's why I said, well, black men, when it's something pertaining to particularly black men, that's what black men need to be focused on. Even if you want to talk about relationships, but from a black man perspective, that's only black men should be talking. Same with black women, it should be just black women talking. Now I get it. When it's something that is community, then yes, we should come together. But it gotta be certain people. And we gotta be able to, the people who's just, they just there to be divisive, you gotta get rid of them. They can't be on the panel. No, no, no. We can't even tolerate it. It's one thing to have different opinions, but it's another thing when you just purposely try and be decisive. You just want to be decisive, then no, you don't need to be around. And you got to know the difference. Because if you're going to have the group thing, we want to have that we conversation. Well, you got to know the difference between a person who had a different opinion and a person who want to be just decisive. And if you can't even figure that out, there's no way you're going to have this we thing. It's just going to be us. It's just going to be it, and the group going to fall apart, and then now it's just back to individualism. At the end of the day, you got to find out the people who really want a community versus the people who just want to be individualistic, and then separate from them. and stop trying to fight for them. There's certain people who don't want it. You about black male leadership, and you got people who don't like black male leadership. They can't be in the group. Let them do their own thing, and then don't interact unless some of your values align. But if it don't, why are you trying to fight for them? That's just my personal opinion. Why are you trying to fight for people? And this is just to men. Why are you trying to fight for black women who don't want to listen to you, don't want to follow your leadership? They feel that just your leadership alone is toxic. Why are you trying to fight for them? Why are you even trying to have a conversation when you already know where the conversation going? Why are you talking to them? Do you need them that bad? Do you need the cash apps that bad? Do you need the views that bad? Or do you just need that validation? You just want the challenge. Which one you want to do? I know me. Women don't want to listen to me. No problems. They don't like me. No problem. I know how to back out. My cutoff game is legendary. No, do you fuck with them? No, mm-mm, I don't fuck with them. I cut off family members like that. I've cut them off. No problems. My whole my mother's side, my father's side, I've cut them off. I don't even go to funerals because I don't fuck with that person. I'm not even gonna pretend. What am I gonna pretend for? Pretend for what? They don't like me. I don't like them. Why we want to play? That you know how stressful it is to be around people you can't stand. And I'm not talking about a job because at least you're getting paid. I'm talking about just in real life. You being around people you know how stressful that is. So I'm not about to put myself under unnecessary stress. Got enough stresses. My job is stressful. Got me doing stuff I don't want to do, but I gotta do it because I gotta keep that paycheck. But if it was, if I didn't give a fuck about the paycheck, I wouldn't do it. But we got people who will fight for people that don't want to fight for them. Don't care to be around you, and they're showing you, and we keep trying to get them to be back with the group. Why? There's no point in that. And as black men, we gotta set a tone. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't want these women here. I don't want these men here. You want to fight for those women? Go over there. You go over there and fight for them. I'm not. Oh, you hate black women. Okay, I'll be the hater. I'll be the hater. No problems. I'll be the fucking hater. I know in my real life they don't consider me a hater. I know in my real life there are people who would do the same thing. No, we don't. I don't fuck with her. I just don't. Man. I don't fuck with him. I'll talk to him, for business, but that's it. I don't fuck with him. But it seems like on internet land, we do that. We will fuck with people. We'll try to get them to want to shame, blame, and explain why they should be with the group. Not like no, sorry. You gotta cut people off. And if you can't put hands on them, then you got to ruin their reputation to the point where nobody want to listen to them. Nobody cares. And anybody want to support them, you got to do the same thing. You got to be as cold hearted as possible because black people, unfortunately, are too warm-hearted for certain people. They want a kumbaya moment when there's really no need to be. When the other people don't want it, they want war. They don't want. They don't want solutions. They want problems. Those people you gotta get. Why? Got some women want to be ladies. Some women want to be whores. But why? What conversation you supposed to have? You got dudes who want to throw their penis around to every chick they want, and then dudes who don't want to do that. They want to be with one woman and be happy. What conversation can you have? What conversation that you can have? You got dudes who don't want to have children, dudes who do. What conversation you gonna have? The dudes who want to work a 9 to 5, be in the corporate, and then dudes who want to do entrepreneurship, hustle all the time. What conversation can you have? Past there's some things that affect black men altogether, but past that, what conversation can you have? There's some dudes who defend black women no matter what, and then there's dudes who have a standard. No, I'm not defending them no matter what. Or there's dudes who don't want to defend them at all, and then there's dudes defend them when need be. What conversation we're gonna have? There's got to be a set of rules and standards that you have to have. If we're gonna have this group thing, you've got to have that kind of standard. If you don't have it, you're gonna have a situation where it's not gonna go anywhere. And it's not because, oh, we worry about what these other people think. Those other people don't require it. Yes, they do. They do require it. They just ain't telling you. But they show you. They don't tell you, they show you. Every day. Every day they have a standard. They show you. We talk. They show. They ain't have the power to back it up. You know. And we're not trying. As black men in particular. We're not trying to get the power to do what they say they want to do. So until you get that straight and focus on your legacy and your group and stop worrying about certain people who don't want to be part of your group and stop trying to convince them. I'm not saying don't leave the door open, but if they on some bullshit, then they gotta go. In the discussion. We're not gonna play with you. You go over there. Over there. Keep that bullshit over there. And the women should be the same. Like, hey, keep that bullshit over there. Over there. Don't bring it here. We'll when you want to get right, okay, we'll leave the door open. But we're gonna keep watching and make sure you follow. And if you're still not gonna follow, okay, well you gotta go back. Go back over there. That's how it's gonna be. We talk about this we versus if we're gonna have a we, yes, we're all black. But we're not all on the same mindset. And if we're not gonna be all on the same mindset on certain things, it's not gonna work. Might as well just be individualistic. Which I don't have a problem with personally, because I am an individualist. But I also understand the need to be in a group when necessary. And I also understand there's certain rules and standards that you got to have in order for it to work. And if you're a black man, if you want to build a group, a community, you're gonna have that. And anybody who do not follow it, whether it's male, female, child, they gotta go. in the discussion. And you got to make that hard decision. If you can't, don't be a leader. Be an individualist. That's all I can tell you. But anyway, if you want to uh, listen to that discussion with Super Mike, it was Super Mike, me, Kojer, LS, I think his name Leroy, and BMT came at the end. If you want to listen to that discussion, go right there. Um, Shouts out to Super Mike for having that discussion, and it was an interesting discussion. I give him a lot of props because again, he is about group. He is about we. He's not about separating us. But I think that I believe his heart's in the right place. But I think the way he's going about it is not, in my opinion, the best way to go around about it. Go about it. Certain people you just can't entertain, and but he's very patient, and I'm patient to a degree on other people's panel, but on here, not as much. Yeah. So with that, I'm out of here. It's been over an hour. Um, thank you for watching, and Black Man, but remember, be powerful or be powerless. The choice is yours. I'm out.